Any ideas?
Howdy folks, we have saved perhaps one of the most challenging hikes of the Davidson's campground for last. This is called Looking Glass Rock, which I showed you off the Blue Ridge Parkway. This is, all it is just going up, 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 and up, and up, and up. It just keeps going up, up until you get to the very last point. As you see, we have been privileged to find a parking space. Now yesterday, we took this road up here to get to the other waterfalls, the Lock Hollow and whatever the heck the other one is called. That's when we discovered that it's nothing but an off-road trail that goes 45-degree incline up. But what we did see yesterday was that all of this parking lot, plus anywhere where you could possibly find a parking space, it was all occupied by people parking. Obviously, a bad situation for an RV. Realistically, there's nowhere to park at all, anywhere, if you have an RV. Further down, there's a couple of pull-outs, but then you have to follow the road for like, I don't know, a quarter of a mile or so. So that's kind of that. One thing that's good about this area is if you're here in the background, there's a river that's passing by. So our goal is to do the hike and then actually use one of the pull-outs to go for a quick dip. So I'll take you along for the journey, and we'll see how it goes. So folks, we're on the trail. It's nothing you haven't seen before in this neck of the woods. It's the same flora and fauna. The character of the trail is sort of like this. Has some rocks on the bottom, has some roots on the bottom. The soil is fairly soft. It feels very humid and moist. Now granted, we've been having rains last few days on and on, so that could probably contribute to it. But to my best understanding, to get to the top of this thing, there's some switchbacks, and everywhere you see, look at this leaf. It's just kind of like this. Howdy folks. So the character of the trail, you could see how the slope has increased. We're going up and up. I can see some of my family members have already lost their breath a little bit, including myself. It feels like a rainforest. Everything is wet. I mean, look at it. Even if there's no rain. And you could hear a babbling of a brook in the back. And just to get you the scope of the slope so far, it's kind of like this. So hiking along the trail, as you see, there's switchbacks. And the character of the trail, still the same, slightly damp, slightly moist, fairly easy to navigate. It's just the fact that you're going up the hill Could see a lot more daylight because we're getting closer to the top of at least this ridge. And there are signs everywhere that tell you not to cut switchbacks. But that's the trail in a nutshell. We're getting to the top of one of the ridges.
Заодно это самое, будет уникальная видеозапись, как проходит по тракту медведь.
Here you can see a lot more boulders on the trail. There are some rocks, and off in the back you can see how we're getting closer to the top of at least our ridge. There's some. Look at that. There are signs that tell you about not cutting switchbacks, talking about erosion and everything. Whoops. Talking about erosion and everything like that. And now that we're in higher altitude, we see a lot more rhododendrons. It's those trees that you see on the right hand side. And the trail just keeps climbing up. So far the pace that we're doing is 1.1 miles in 30 something minutes. So we met a guy yesterday who said that he did this hike in 2.5 hours up. So we have no idea if he was hiking slow or if we're hiking fast, but we'll just see. Still hiking through the rhododendrons. The slope on each side is sort of like this, and believe it or not, this is the second snake that we're coming across. Let me show you. You can sort of see it through the bush over there, black with a yellow sort of stripy thing. Look at this guy, just camping out there, just chilling right there. So it's just switchbacks. The switchbacks are getting shorter and shorter, and we're starting to see a lot more rocks. Certainly on the trail, to the side of the trail, and obviously a lot more daylight. Here you could see how switchbacks becoming shorter and shorter. That being said, it doesn't mean that we're on top of where we need to go, because technically we should be hiking up this one ridge and then on the top of the ridge up until we hit that bulb. So as you see, most of the hike is under shade, mercifully, because doing this under sun would have been somewhat unpleasant. But it's pretty nifty. We keep going. Oh, here's another switchback. Just like I was saying, rocky terrain. So we have come up on what looks like a creek where you could wash your face a little bit. It's just as humid up here on the top as it was on the bottom. See, it's kind of a just very, very tiny creek, but enough to wet your head or your wash clothes or something like that. No idea. No idea. So we're about 2.5 miles up the trail. It's getting a little bit more narrow. You can see how there's far more daylight here. And you can see red berries on the side. I'm not a berry expert, so I'm not even gonna try. But one thing that changed was the profile of the trail. There's a lot more of those staircase looking things. So a good thing to have with you are a pair of hiking poles. See, they're getting taller and taller.
I hold on that tree.
There's far less vegetation here, and you can see all behind me that it's kind of skimpy. We're now walking mostly on rock, as you see. All the little twigs and things. There's daylight everywhere. Depending on where you go, you could see daylight this way and daylight that way. And I figure we're probably 3 point something miles in. Here you can see how this trail ends in a rather abrupt bluff where we're going, and there's the daylight. So let's just say that we're totally looking for a swim afterwards, and we're blessed that it's not that far away, that's for sure. But the trail is still under shade all the way to the top. You may not get to see all those typical mountain views, but once you get to the end, you're gonna appreciate what it's all about. The trail continues, but this is like a little glimpse of what's to come. Look at this. Park your RV up here. Wait, why are you eating?
I'm hungry. I had a panic. It's really good. Are we eating here or up there?
Hopefully up there. This is like a little preview of what's to come. You could see fir and deciduous forest. It's a lot more dry here too. I've noticed I stopped sweating so much, and I could sort of feel it being wickered away from me. If that makes any sense. Alright guys, after a quick break, we decided to trek along and hopefully mosey on with the trail. One thing that I found really surprising is this rock is very... by the way, about this rock, there's some carvings here, and you know, I was tempted to call it vandalism, but some of it has been here since 1930s, like this message up here. See? March 9, 1930. But yeah, the texture of the rock here is really not slippery at all, which surprised me really well. But here you can see that the trail is turning into this sandy, erosive sort of character with far more exposed roots and obviously rocks, and hopefully we're getting closer to the end. But you can see how here there's far more light, just ambient light, and it's a lot more dry than it was on the bottom, that's for sure. A little bit further up the hill, starting to get first glimpses of exposed rock up on the top. We're back on this trail. You can see how the trail is turning more and more into rock. Coming up on some wandering travelers. Ooh.
Hello.
Hey. Hey. considering the increased frequency of the boulders and the rocks and everything, I would have to say that this is probably the new character profile of the trail. But we're close because you could see the daylight over there. After hiking for what seems like miles, we're still hiking. I'm guessing we're on the top of this darn thing, because if you look over that way through the woods, there's daylight, and there's daylight over there. So we're obviously on the crest of this thing, and it just keeps going up and up, and it's very deceiving because just as soon as you think you're there, you're not there. Just as it makes you feel like you've finally arrived, nope, still keeps going. But here on the top, one thing I've noticed is there's far more soil and sand and mature trees than the area we've just... Oh, look at this. Look at all the little mushroom things. But yeah, you could see how abundance of really big trees and soil compositions changes drastically from... I'm guessing it depends on which side of the mountain it's facing and erosion and whatnot. But here you see how the trail just keeps going up and up and up. We're almost there.
Are you sure? You said a half mile left.
We have arrived at the place. I've seen in other YouTube videos where people break camp. All around us there's this hazy blue smoke. We see Blue Ridge Mountains off in the back. Now that we're getting a 180-degree panorama, I have a feeling that we're getting very close. We've been told that the trail is about 3.7 miles. According to the fitness bit, we've been walking for 3.6. And now, here's an interesting factoid. We're actually going down the hill. Look at this. Still under shade, mercifully. It feels weird to go up the mountain slope and then go down the slope to arrive at the peak. Yeah. Look at this. Still going down the hill to arrive at the edge of the trail. It's really bizarre how the trail goes. Around every turn. But to get to the bottom, you have to go down the hill. That's what you gotta go down. And then I am told that it should be funny. Being out here, you would never know. But I'm gonna record this live because I'm just as curious about it as you are. Oh my goodness, I see a clearing. Wow. That's Blue Ridge Mountains off in the back. Oh. How cool is this?
The people who were just here told us that a guy was here with his family in like 2015. He just like fell, and they found him 400 feet down.
Ooh.
He's dead.
Well, yeah, 'cause it's slippery and you can't stop.
Thankfully we're here. It's dry.
Yep. Look at this. Look at the view.
And those people were at Davidson River also.
Oh.
I was talking about how there's service here. I have 2 bars.
Is there?
Yeah, and I said there's no service at our campground. They're like, you're probably staying where we're staying, Davidson River. I was like, yep.
So the overlook where we've looked at the rock is about there-ish somewhere.
What is there?
Remember how we stopped at the highway and looked?
I feel like I can see a road.
Possibly. It should be right on the top somewhere. How spectacular is this? Just look at it.
I think it's over there.
Possibly.
There's like a little line, and I feel like I can see cars. There's like a little white.
And here we are. Look at this.
It feels unreal.
I know. Especially after walking all this way. Okay, I'm gonna set the cameras. The 400+ foot cliff doesn't stop this dog. Look at that. She's like a mountain goat.
She's trying to find Daddy.
So guys, we are here. This is the Looking Glass Rock with its absolutely spectacular panorama. We've been out here for a little bit enjoying. The clouds are moving up on the other side. We got sunlight here. Look at that. Really beautiful. Blue Ridge Parkway is off in there somewhere. And just the scale of the sheer rock cliff. And then the view continues on this side. That's famous blue view of the Blue Ridge Parkway. Oh, the mountainside and everything like that. Absolutely breathtaking. Can't really tell a full story of this, but this is really, really cool. I've shown this rock from like there, and I think over there somewhere. But actually being here in person is a completely different beast. One thing that I always find incredible is that even on sheer rock cliff like so, you get the abundance of the trees and the vegetation. You could see some fur in there, rhododendrons clinging to the side. And then up here, you could see variety of pine and fir over there too. Look how thick it is. So the actual peak of this mountain is actually there, right where that camping space is. Really cool. And as we're staying here, we're watching the storm off in the back kind of crawl and creep over the mountain a little bit. Brave members of the troop.
I want a cool picture.
Let's just say that as much as I'm tempted to go over there,
All heading towards somewhere. Maybe something died.
or maybe they just live on the cliffside.
Yeah.
They live on the cutting edge. Yes.
I'm on the edge. Hey, puppy, why
So every good thing must come to an end. We have been hopefully a good end. My sister is chuckling at it.
Why do you start everything with this like motivational quote? Like, we're gonna mosey on down to the rock.
Well, because it sounds southern.
Southern?
Southern. Southern.
No, southern.
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 And there are some crazy people over there sitting on the edge. Literally. No, but the key is to go up the mountain and then go down the mountain, and then after that do some swimming, because all of us are sweaty. You lose your sweat going up this hike, that's for sure. They're packing up, so I'll see you guys on the bottom of the hill. Some people having fun on the trail. This wasn't here on the way up, so somebody must have put this there. Howdy folks, we are officially done with the Pisgah National Trail Forest Looking Glass Rock trail hike. 6 hours, that's how long it took. 2.5 hours up, 2.5 hours down, and about an hour over there. You'd think that coming down the trail is easy and faster. I would say, just from personal kind of, it felt fast, but it sure, time doesn't lie, that's for sure. So we left the top of the rock at 1:30, and we just arrived here at 4, just to get you some bearing. And then on the way up, we left here at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we arrived there at 12:30. So just to now the goal is to get our bearings, go for a quick dip, hit the campground, go for a second swim, and get along with the program.